Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm just going to let people sort of filter in for a few minutes. If you'd like, please go ahead and share in the chat box where you're joining us from today. We'd love to know the location of where you're tuning in from. Got a couple from Texas. Nice. South Carolina, Nevada, New York, or Texas. Wow. All over the place. That's great. Okay, it looks like we've got a good group going, so I think I will go ahead and get started. My name is Catherine Swery. I'm the Content Marketing Specialist here at ACHS, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar, Products Essentials for Wellness Entrepreneurs. Joining us today are ACHS President Tracy Abel and our Chief Operating Officer, Alana Frigard. Today, they're going to introduce Course 5 of our Wellness Business Operations Specialist Micro-Credential Program. Course 5 has just been launched, and it covers key knowledge and skills needed to navigate product production in the wellness industry. Before I hand it over, I do just want to share a couple of housekeeping items. You may have noticed that your line is muted. We are recording today's webinar, and this helps to ensure better sound quality for everybody who's viewing the recording later. If you do have questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them into the chat at any time. Don't be shy. We love to hear from you during the webinar. I'll be on the back end answering some questions, and also if there's any tech issues that come up, I'll be there to handle that as well. One thing to note about the chat box, please make sure that you have the blue drop-down menu set to everyone instead of just hosts and panelists. That way everyone can view your chats when you're messaging. And then with that, I think I'll go ahead and hand it off to Tracy to get us started.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Catherine, for that introduction and being here to support our webinar today. It's wonderful to see so many of our students and graduates in the chat, and to be here talking about the important topic of product essentials for wellness entrepreneurs, which I know many of you are. It's also a pleasure to be joined by Ilana Frigard. Ilana, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, it's great to be here with all of you. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here, and I am excited to share some information that will hopefully launch a few things for yourself.
Great. Well, thank you, Ilana, for joining today. So very briefly, before we get into the course information, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I want to share just a little bit about ACHS. As you may know, ACHS was founded in 1978, so we have nearly 50 years of offering wellness education via distance education. We have students and graduates in over 60 countries around the world. We may have some of our international students on with us today. And we offer a wide range of training, and that's something that has always been core to our mission. Our goal and the legacy of our founding president, Doreen Peterson, is to make health and wellness knowledge really accessible to everyone. So whether you're joining a webinar with us or earning your doctorate degree program, our hope is that you take away knowledge that helps you in your personal health and helps your community thrive. There are a wide range of micro-credentials that we offer, the Wellness Business Operations Specialist being our newest. So we'll take some time to talk a little bit about the micro-credential overall, and of course, we'll spend the bulk of our time today talking about this latest course. As I just briefly shared a little bit about, our mission here at ACHS is to lead the advancement of evidence-based integrative health and wellness education. And another really core principle for us is the idea of experiential online learning. So for those of you who have taken a course with us, you've had the experience of working with herbs hands-on, working with essential oils, working with nutrition supplies. And that's really our intent with our education. In this micro-credential course, you're learning how to take that knowledge or knowledge that you've been developing on your own and bring that together in developing wellness products and bringing those products to market. Today, we are going to cover a little bit about the micro-credential overall and some of the goals for this micro-credential and how we hope you will all be using it in the industry to advance the industry. We're going to spend time talking specifically about product essentials for wellness entrepreneurs, and we're going to give a preview of the latest course. Now, I really want this, we both want this to be an interactive session. So you're going to be asked to share your thoughts in the chat box, and we really welcome all considerations and thoughts and perspectives. So we'll be learning together throughout this and also using anything you share with us today to integrate into the course. So let's get started just talking briefly about the Wellness Business Operations Specialist micro-credential as a whole. It is a series of 6 courses, the 5th of which is available today. We've done a webinar each month for the last 4 months introducing the new courses. This micro-credential is designed to be content tailored to running a wellness business. So whether you are an individual practitioner or you're running someone else's wellness business, spa, wellness center, the knowledge gained here is designed to really give you a competitive edge and help the business thrive. Our goal has been to provide content that is practical, that can be immediately applied in the work you're doing, and there's direct application and strategies that you're developing as you go through each of these courses. Each course also has contributors who are experts in their field, from the business side, creating a business plan, developing your strategy, to human resources essentials, finance essentials, and now today, learning about product essentials. We've been asked, who should take this micro-credential? Because it's not just wellness practitioners, as I was sharing. There are a myriad of professional pathways in the integrative health and wellness industry, and it can be as a practitioner, it can be as an operations specialist, a facility manager, a product developer. So whatever role you're interested in taking or how your career might evolve within the wellness industry, this micro-credential provides the essential skills that someone needs for a profession in the wellness industry. Again, I shared that our intent with this micro-credential is to be providing very practical knowledge that you can apply. If you've taken any micro-credentials with us before, then you also earn a digital badge that can be used across your resume. It can be promoted on LinkedIn. It can be used with professional organizations to demonstrate your knowledge and proficiency in key industry areas. And we really encourage you to be sharing those credentials. Part of our mission as we lead the advancement of integrative health and wellness is bringing recognition to the unique skills and experience it takes to be an effective, holistic, and safe practitioner. So your commitment to continuing to develop these skills is an important part of that. So as I shared, this micro-credential is a 6-course series. We're in the home stretch of our new courses, today talking about the Wellness Business Product Essentials, and our 6th and final course will be available next month on Marketing Essentials. So really bringing it all together and helping you bring your products and services to market. So keep an eye out for that invite. All right, so let's dig into the topic that we're all here to discuss: Wellness Business Product Essentials. Now, to get started, I'm going to share a poll to learn a little bit more about our attendees, all of you with us today, and more about your experience with natural products. So let me just put this up on the screen. And you should see the poll up for you to answer. So tell us about your experience. Are you just thinking about developing products? Have you already created products? Are you in the distribution phase? Or are you maybe considering retail and wholesale operations? Oh, great. I love to see everyone participating. Looks like we have a lot in the early development and also product testing, really creating your products and getting ready to bring them to market. I also see some of you are already distributing your products. All right. Well, thank you to everyone for participating. I am going to share the results here so you can see who we have participating with us today. And I see a few comments in the chat box, and thank you, Catherine. Yes, we will be sharing the recording today. And wonderful to see, Andrea, that you have created your products and friends are trying them out. They are your best test audience, because hopefully they'll be honest with you too. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating. Now, I have to give one disclaimer. There's always a disclaimer, right? This information is for educational purposes. I would say that when it comes to product development and the regulatory framework around products, it can be a little complex to navigate. So our intent is to give you a framework and provide some guardrails for you to know what questions to ask, what are things you should be considering, and how to find the information you need specific to your products. For example, are you creating cosmetics or are you creating dietary supplements? You might not know. We would recommend for anyone starting a business and distributing products to be sure to talk with their legal counsel. And we also within the course share some GMP experts. We have a number of colleagues, and there are several industry organizations who help guide small businesses related to good manufacturing practices. So as part of the course, you'll be developing that network of professional colleagues so that they can support you and you can support them in your business. All right, so let's dive into some of the key considerations for your wellness products. So I'm going to ask you, as we get started, when you think about it, what do you think are some of the key things to be thinking about when you're first developing your products? Great, the demographic. Who is going to be using your products? What are their unique needs? Safety, very important. Testing. The ingredients you're using. That's something that Doreen always says is, the quality, the therapeutic value of your final product is only as good as the ingredients that you put into the product. She would also say that it's the intent and the energy that you put into the products that are important. Warning labels, and making sure everyone really understands how to safely and most effectively use the products you're creating. Well, let me share with you some of the key considerations that we cover in this course. So the first step is formulating. Regulatory requirements, and several of you mentioned those right off the bat. They're not the most fun thing to think about, but they're an essential part of doing business, frankly, in any industry. Managing your suppliers. This is another consideration, and I know, Alana, this is an area where you have a lot of experience, but how you're going to produce your products. Are you going to self-produce? Are you going to outsource? Yeah. Packaging. Everyone wants, we all want the most beautiful package, right? We also want it to be sustainable. We also have to think about things like, how is it going to work on the shelf if I'm distributing the product? A lot to think about there. So the course dives into how you can balance all of those components and cost of those components, how to price your products, and also distribution of your products. Alana, is there anything else that you can also think of or want to add additional information to in any of these areas?
Absolutely. Looking at this course, one of the things I love about it is that it's going to meet you exactly where you are. So let's say, for example, that you already have a product line that you've created. Well, you can start with that piece of it. So, one of the things you'll find with this course is that there are some key action steps to take. Uh, for example, I imagine that all of you out there have spent quite a bit of time dreaming of what your business will look like, what your product line will look like, people using the products that you have. So this course is the actual work part of it. This is putting those steps into actionable items for you. And this is the work. So what this course will do is really separate those that have ideas into those that make it happen. And it's what we've done is really segmented it. And, Tracy covered it so well with these bullet points. We go one step at a time of what's going to align best for you and to set you up for success. So it's pretty exciting.
Thank you, Alana. And we'll share a little bit about how we help you take those action steps through some of the tools in the course when we move on. Michelle just shared in the chat box, trying to do it yourself can, sometimes mean that the end product doesn't look quite the way you envision it. There are more and more opportunities to customize things like your packaging, even labeling in an affordable way through technology. And we share some of the tools that in some cases are even free. Some of them are things you may already be using, tools like Canva. But even on the packaging side, there are increasingly more affordable and sustainable packaging options. So we do share some of those resources in the course as well. And what I would say is, and we mentioned this in the course, be careful not to wait for perfection. You will always be evolving your products. I think about ACHS and the lab kits and supplies that we provide to students. In my almost 23 years with the college, those kits have changed a lot, not just in the actual materials, but also in the way they're packaged and the way they're produced. So that will be an evolution. Be careful about the idea of perfection or comparing yourself to the products of a brand that is maybe on a different scale right now.
That's a really great point, Tracy, is, people will see a product line of essential oils, herbs, maybe some nutritional supplements. They'll see them on the shelf somewhere, and it can be exciting thinking, how can I do this? But it can also seem far away. But I will tell you that every single company has to go through these same steps. So you start from square one of where you are today, and then you go on to the next one. So it's those bite-sized pieces. And what we've really done is get you set up for that. So you make a really good point of not waiting for perfection, because I don't know if there is such a thing. You're always going to be wanting to make some changes and evolve and add new products in. And so
it's something we probably all suffer from on some level. So, tell yourself it's good enough to get it out there. What is in the bottle is what's most important. When you start sharing your products with others and they really love the product, that's going to be building your brand loyalty and bring people back to your products. Doesn't matter what container it's in. So just think about that. And Constance shared the same thing, wanting it to be perfect. So maybe this course can help overcome some of those things. So another really important aspect of developing your own products that I think is sometimes underestimated is your supply chain and managing your suppliers. Terms like supply chain, that sounds big. Target has a supply chain for a certain product. So, but even if you're buying a pound of herb at a time, you have a supply chain for that herb. Who your supplier is. So, let's take a moment and share in the chat a little bit about what considerations you think would be important for managing your supply chain, managing the vendors and suppliers that you work with. Anyone have any ideas? That they have the inventory, that they're reliable. Price stability. That's an important one. Positive relationship. Quality assessment, and verified quality, right? Michael shared in the chat a C of A, that's a certificate of analysis, and that can be very important. History of delivery. This was kind of touched on with inventory, but now more than ever, there are considerations like climate change. Some plants are struggling to be produced on the level they've been produced before, or they're being produced in new areas that can introduce new challenges, whether it be import-export challenges that affect cost, transportation, different constituents when you're talking about things like herbs and essential oils. There's a lot to think about. I saw sustainability, fair trade. Yes, Sharon, you're absolutely right. Doreen would say, and does say, know as much about where the product comes from as you can. And in most cases, with our essential oils, for example, Doreen and other team members have visited the direct distiller that is producing the oil. And that's to look at how it's harvested, when is it distilled? Is the supplier we're getting it from the actual grower, or are they buying plant material and distilling it? That can affect the production of essential oil. And things like workplace practices, particularly given the geographical diversity and where essential oils come from, and then their environmental practices at the facility. So things that, as a new product developer, as a small business, just these things can sound overwhelming. So we try to guide you in where to start. So let's look at some of the considerations that are covered in the course. Vetting suppliers. That's number one. Know who you're working with. Know about their products. That's a short way of saying all the things we were just talking about. Oh, and Michelle, I see your question. Yes, I mean suppliers of the ingredients for your products. So if you're making a lotion, for example, all of the things, the raw ingredients that might go into that lotion, these suppliers. Building rapport. Alana, I think you have a lot of experience with this too. You can't underestimate the value of having a strong relationship with your suppliers.
Yeah, that's right. Building rapport is a really wonderful tool. And one of the great things about this is when you learn how to do this, it can carry over into other aspects of your life and your career. So, one of the things that we'll teach is questions to ask. Something Doreen, our founder, always teaches is being curious. So that even being curious with the people that you're working with, the companies you're working with. So the questions, we'll go over today. You'll notice that people in the industry continue to stay curious with each other, which is really fascinating.
Mhm. Quality assessment, that is important, and it can be complex as well. We share some of the different methodologies for doing quality assessment. Some have been mentioned in the chat already, looking at things like a certificate of analysis. Someone mentioned GCMS. If you don't know what that is, oh gosh, I hope I say it right, gas chromatograph and mass spec testing for your essential oils. Always a mouthful. And that's really giving you a detailed report on the constituents within your oil. Are they where you want them to be within a therapeutic range? Do they meet specification? Is there any sign of adulterants? So that's kind of it's of course a science, it's also an art. And we talk a little bit about those things. And then some of the things that we already chatted about were supply chain disruptors. What are the things that can affect your supply chain? And we know it can be inclement weather. It can be, issues with trucking routes or train routes. There's just so much that can go into affecting your supply chain. All right, now the one that comes up a lot and where there are opportunities to be, I think, really creative, and that's in the production, packaging, and pricing of your products. If you're a student or graduate and a member of our Facebook coaching group, you'll see this question a lot and a lot of collaboration around it. How do I know how much to charge for my product or service? Well, there's a few considerations for that. So I'm going to ask all of you again, what are things you think of as, questions you have or potential barriers when it comes to production of your products, packaging them, and how you price them? The quality of the ingredients and labor. Yeah, labor is certainly one that's an important consideration now. You might be doing it yourself initially, but at some point you might need help. So finding that skilled support, facilities, cost. Cheapest is not best. My dad always used to say penny wise and pound foolish. But yeah, it's important to really look at the holistic picture. And like Alana said, you are where you are at right now. So you're going to do the best you can right now and continue to evolve. And we talk about how to do that within the course. So again, there's some themes here, right? Quality assessment, that's come up in every aspect of producing your products. Sustainability. Sustainability is, can be a broad term. And you are going to develop the values that are important to you in your products. Environmental stewardship, supporting the actual sustainability of your business, what will allow you to continue to produce, how might you be able to give back to your community. So that's something you're going to develop for yourself. Packaging, very important. And lastly, how you set your price. So within the course, we provide some worksheet examples for thinking about how to set your price. Someone mentioned taxes, how it will be sold. Yes, the overall regulatory framework of, here in this course, we're talking about manufacturing practices. In our other courses, we also talk about business taxes, getting your business registered. What does that mean? How do you do it? Alana, is there anything else that you would think of related to production, packaging, and pricing of products?
Yeah, this piece of it can be pretty exciting. Like I said, people will find a product on the shelf and um, well, all of you can tell me maybe there's been something inside of you that you've seen something and you thought, I would love to have my product look like this. I would love to have the packaging feel like this. How do I do this? Right. So, one of the things we'll explore is what you want and what you can do today, and we'll help you create a plan to get where you want to be. So if you do have some very elaborate packaging that is your dream product line, that's perfect. So whatever that is, that's fantastic, and we can get you there. But we're going to start exactly where you are today. So don't be intimidated if you're thinking, how am I going to do this? I've only thought of one product, but I want to carry 50, right? So we understand that there's a scale here, and uh, every business goes through this. You start exactly where you are today, and there is no wrong place. So if you get anything from this webinar today and what this course is offering, it is we will help you get in action now for what works for you. And the fantastic thing about this course is that you purchase the course and you can set up a time that works best for you. So, maybe you're working, maybe you're taking some other courses. Well, you can set a time. Maybe it's once a week that you're working on this. So whatever's going to fit best for your schedule, and we can get you moving right away on the path to launch those exciting products that you have.
Absolutely. When it comes to packaging, I was just thinking of an example. If you drink wine, you may have, or there's so many like seltzers on the market now. You may have been attracted to a particular label. I know I certainly am when I'm looking at the shelf. And it's not always just what looks the fanciest or, the most established. Sometimes it's the name that's used or where it's from that I have a connection with, or something about the values of the company that's producing it. So that's where, there's an earlier course, one of the business courses, and then our last course, the marketing course coming out next month, where you'll get a chance to really think about how you make your value proposition really clear to your customers. So that's something else to think of. It doesn't always have to be, the most put together looking thing, which comes from experience. So just planting the seed for some things you might learn in the next course. Well, let me share a little bit about the modules that are within this course, just to follow up on some of the considerations we've already talked about. So within the Wellness Business Product Essentials course, we start with, production planning. First of all, assessing, are you going to self-produce or are you going to outsource? Contract manufacturing is a huge business, and there are far more options now than there have been previously, even as recently as 5 years ago. So you can assess for yourself what's going to work best for your business, and then really developing what your production plan might look like. Then we get into understanding compliance. So this is sharing about the overall regulatory framework for you to consider. This is where you're going to be asking yourself, am I creating cosmetics or am I creating dietary supplements as it's defined within our regulations, the FDA regulations? It's important to keep in mind that if you're using herbs in your product, it is, in most circumstances, if not all, going to be a dietary supplement because herbs are considered a dietary supplement. And we talk about some different strategies to protect your business. And an important strategy there is really developing your professional network. So we talk about how to do that and what that means. Who are the people that you really want to be connected with and have as a resource? And then we get into the packaging labeling and the distribution that we were just talking about. One of the things I love about this course and throughout this micro-credential is that each section has what's called a blueprint. And it's a practical guide for each component of developing or managing your wellness business. And here's where the development of those strategies, those action steps that Alana was talking about, are going to be done. And this is something that you will actively fill out. It has specific actions for you to take. So I really think this is what's most impactful. There's so much information out there. You have to know where to start, and you have to start putting things on paper or digitally. The equivalent of putting it on paper. So there's also opportunities to test your knowledge. And we do that in a few different ways. I think about sort of gaming to a certain extent. I don't know if any of you have used like Duolingo to learn a language. There's assessment in here in the development of your blueprint, but we also really want you to learn in different ways and think about what you're learning in different ways. So there are tools for learning within the classroom that are first a test component, but through activities like a word match, a crossword, things that sound really fundamental. Well, I can tell you, I had to study a few of these. So I think you'll really enjoy that. And then the applying your learning. And that's where the blueprint and specific action steps really come in. So a few FAQs, Alana shared some of these already. The entire micro-credential is $6.99. And the individual courses, because some of you may want to take specific components, is $129. And we'll be sharing all this information with you after the webinar so that you have the links and the resources that you need. I shared a little bit about the micro-credential actual badge that you earn for each component of wellness business operations that you study, and the overall specialist credential when you've completed the entire program. The courses are self-paced, so as Alana was sharing, you can study this on your schedule. You have up to a year to start the course. So, if you aren't able to start immediately, you think about when is this going to fit into your schedule after you've registered. We recommend being thoughtful about how you take the course and giving yourself the time to really apply your learning. I think having weekly or every 2-week kind of milestones for yourself so that you're setting goals that are achievable is a great strategy. And that's how the blueprint was designed, so that you could have time to apply what you're learning. So now I'll take a moment and open it up to questions. While we're waiting for a few questions to come in, I did want to let you know that you will be receiving an email after this, as I said, that will also include the link that Catherine has shared in the chat box, as well as a promotional savings for the course that is both the course and the micro-credential that is available to you through October 31st. And if you have a colleague that would benefit from this information, you can also share a friends and family savings with them, and you'll receive the code to do that. I see the question from Kendrisha. I hope I said your name correctly. This is a micro-credential self-paced learning, so it is not eligible for federal financial aid. There are options, though, to make installment payments, and we'll include the link for that. You can choose a payment structure that works best for you, and Alana has set up a pathway for you to be able to do that. So we'll include that in the follow-up email. I also want to just share our admissions team. They are available to answer any questions you have about micro-credentials or other courses at ACHS. And of course, you're welcome to reach out to me or Alana. We love talking about this, and always happy to share our experience. When you join the micro-credential, You'll also be invited to join our LinkedIn group, and that's another great way to build your professional network and to be sharing ideas. Share your product, share packaging ideas. So I hope you'll come and join the discussion there as well. The class will be live to enroll in today. So as soon as we send out our email this afternoon, then the course will be open. And for those of you who are already enrolled in the micro-credential, this course will automatically appear on your dashboard later today. So thank you for asking that question, just in case any of you are already in the micro-credential. Alana, are there any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, thank you all for joining today. And I hope if there's one thing you gain from this, I hope that you take one action step towards your dream, whatever that is. And if we can help you get there, I'm just hoping to incite some passion inside of you, because I know all of you are here for some reason. So follow that passion, take a step towards your dream, and hopefully we can help you along the way.
Thank you, Alana. I see a few questions in the chat box that we haven't covered. I am saving the chat and I'll be sure to reach out to you. I'll also put my email in here. If you'd like to save it, you're welcome to reach out to me with any additional questions. And we really are just so grateful that you joined us today and are excited to hear about your products. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alana and Catherine.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a wonderful afternoon.